Hey, Blue Table fans, Sean here, and we're going to take a look at some Morghasts. There's two types. There's Harbingers, that's these guys, I'm pretty sure, with the two swords, and then Archai, or whatever, however you say it. They're absolutely fantastic models. Games Workshop produced them right around the time of the Warhammer Fantasy End of Times sequence. And they kind of just got overlooked. You know, I really didn't see them in armies, and they just kind of, you know, got swept under the rug. This amazing plastic kit. By the way, it takes longer to assemble these guys than to paint them. They are really, really pretty tough. So, there we go. That's a little bit better. So anyway, I think I went a little overboard with the Morghasts. They're 120 points each, and they're in the Deathlords section of the Death books. But the models, I just couldn't pass up the models, and I thought they had a really good stat line. So here we are. My big dilemma when I was doing these was to use the gray color or the red color for the armor, and in the end I just kind of went halvesies on them, and I hope it doesn't like break up the theme of the army. And I did sort of break a rule of painting, which is if something is a certain substance in the game world, it gets a specific color. So as you can see here, I've used red here on her cloth, but also red on the armor. And I know probably nobody would have ever picked that up on that unless I said something. But anyway, they're really quite a challenge to put together. I have them on these really cool bases. This is from a 50 plus rubber mold line that I own called Xenomorph with an E on the end. And I'm actually selling that right now. I have it on the web store. I've reduced the price of it. You can check the liner notes for what that is right now. And it's basically just a ready-to-go business. But anyway, back to these guys. As I mentioned before, they have quite a few stages on each part of them, including this purple glaze that I did in the recesses. And I left the swords just black, although I faded in sort of a bone color onto the places where they had some texture, like right here. And I think that ties them in very nicely. If you look at the published paint jobs, there's like spirits in there that are like wailing or whatever. So they have this really cool shape, and it's a shame just to charcoal black that right on over, but I thought it went better with the model, because if you do it like the books and make it into this very bright spirit stuff, then it becomes a focal point. And I really thought the highlight of these guys was the armor plating. It's very well done. Now, in the book, this top part is represented as gold, but I went ahead and interpreted it as bone. So that's how I've done mine differently. And then, of course, you have Neferata, Queen of the Undead. Is that right? So anyway, I think I've shown this model already. Notably, the Dagger of Jet has no highlighting on it. I just did this charcoal, and I really like how it turns out. It really picks up the ambient light just by itself. And this collar is actually from one of the other models you can make from this kit, but I really like this better. And this little sort of Egyptian hieroglyph oval thing is really, I thought, more in keeping with her theme, and it also ties into the same thing which appears on their shoulder pads. So a little aesthetic choice there. And in case I didn't mention in an earlier video, this is from a Tomb King's kit, and I think that adds a really nice touch to the tail. Normally the tail just has like this 3-bone kind of spiky thing on the end, which is a little nonplussed for this giant tail, which is I think a very cool feature of hers. So I think the colors work really well all together, and all in all, I'm very happy with how these guys turned out, and I can't wait to play them in a game. I have 40 skeletons. In fact, I am just going to grab my prototype skeleton. I hope you took your motion sickness pills. So here's my prototype skeleton, and yep, he's just a pretty basic paint job. Nothing really special. He's got the cool bases too. Although if I could go back and do it over again, my basic guys, I would have just put them on regular graveled bases. You know, it just, the specialty bases just kind of upstage them, and I think it's too much. But it does give them a little bit of weight because they are like resin, so that's a nice feature. So 40 of these guys, and guess what? This is 2,000 points. She's 460. They clock in at, like, I think she's 440. They're like 960 with 8 times 12. Yeah, 960. So they cost quite a bit. But you know, I've been thinking while I'm on the subject of these guys that when I'm fielding them, I'm going to keep half of them in with a summoning reserve and have her summon them. And here's why. Because they can be summoned 9 inches away. Excuse me, over 9 inches, but you only have to be a 1/4 inch from somebody to make a successful charge. So the roll that you need is a 9. I think I mentioned this already in another video. But it's these guys that go fast. They have a 3d6 charge, so you need to get a 9 on 3d6, which is definitely in your favor for that happening. So they can be summoned and charge on the very first turn with just being in summoning reserve. So I'll probably keep these guys on the board as her bodyguard and keep these bad boys off in the nether to take care of problems where they may arise. But their damage potential is 12 each, which is really quite good for the points that they cost. They're basically like heroes, a bunch of heroes running around. They do have to be taken in pairs, but because of the way the bravery tests work, these guys have a bravery of 10. There's no way for the other one to run away if the first one is killed, because it's the models killed. So, alright guys, well, that's all I got to say about these. Thanks for tuning in. I am setting up new commissions. If you want to contact me at projects@bluetablepainting.com. I've got a really good crew working things through, and I'm ready to go. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you got your inspiration for the day.